state needs new leadership. I want to submit at the appropriate time my credentials to you to try to convince you to come along for the ride. The first chair in the entire state who called me up and said, listen, I just want you to know I'm going to endorse you is this guy right to my right. We have 12 counties that have endorsed us at this point, and 6 or 7 big labor organizations. But the first call came from Chip and Scott and their team. It means more than you know. Enough about me. We can talk about me again on another night. We have work to do in the next 5 days, let there be no doubt. You just heard for some really good local candidates. So you got Stacy, you got Thad, and you got half of the Clyde family singers. And I like Thad's, where'd Thad go? You must be in front of me somewhere, you're right in front of me. I like what you said about closeness to the ground. The fact of the matter is, I'll talk about Hillary in a second. The fact of the matter is, we've got to get her elected president. Do you all agree with me there?
Yeah.
Okay. But the closer, ironically, the more you go down the ballot, the closer that form of government is to your daily life. And getting, look at just not only in Chatham Borough and Township, but we've talked about, Wharton, Boonton, Lincoln Park, Mountain Lakes, Morris Township. You got a lot of really consequential local elections in Morris County this year. Whether we're holding and defending, or more likely reaching across, trying to pull some back to our side. So all of these races, and certainly the two communities that we're talking about tonight, deserve all of our energy and support. And I'll tell you, I voted with my feet. We are invested heavily in every respect, including my own time, resources, boots on the ground in Morris County this year. Rosella spoke. We got, I don't know where John and Mitch are, but we've got 3 really special freeholder candidates. Pete's a terrific candidate for Congress. We got a lot going on here. And I'm a big Howard Dean guy. Howard was just in New Jersey Tuesday night. I was the National Finance Chair alongside Howard when he was the chair of our party. And I'm a big disciple of the 50-state strategy. And it might as well be called the 21-county strategy as I live my life in New Jersey. And Morris County is pregnant with opportunities. It looks and feels a lot like, to me, Colorado did in 2008, or Virginia did in 2008, or maybe even in Arizona or in North Carolina. It's all starting to bubble. And then when you throw into that mix a candidate at the top of their ticket, like Donald Trump, this guy, it could be, we've talked about, Chip and Scott and I have talked about a potential sort of wave election, a Barry Goldwater moment. Now, the director of the FBI is sort of clinking us up a little bit here. I didn't realize that the referee was in the tank for one of the teams. But having said that, I still think we're going to have a big night on Tuesday, including at the top of the ballot, and that will have huge implications to all of the races here in Morris County and, frankly, around our state. I want to just, before I break, I want to just walk through a quick history lesson. I was thinking about Democrats who have been elected president since World War II. I think post-World War II is an era that is probably the most relevant to talk about. So you got, just bear with me for 1 minute. Harry Truman sort of slotted in as FDR's 3rd or 4th VP, wasn't expected to have kind of a hayseed, quote-unquote, from Missouri, wasn't expected to be president. John Kennedy, privileged, bankrolled by his father, wins by 200,000 votes, too young. Lyndon Johnson, another guy brought in by John Kennedy to win the state of Texas in 1960. I guarantee you that there's no evidence that Kennedy's ever had the plan for Lyndon Johnson's election to president. Jimmy Carter, a peanut farmer from Georgia, comes in and wins in the post-Watergate era. Do you remember the Democratic National Convention in 1988? This is the convention that nominated Mike Dukakis. Anyone remember who gave the keynote address? Longest in the history of our party's history. Okay? It was going on so long they were giving him hand signals to go off stage. I believe he was the youngest elected governor in our country's history. He was also the youngest person ever to lose as a sitting governor. So up and down, verbose. 4 years later, he's president. And then, of course, the guy I first heard about him actually from John Corzine many years ago, 2003, I'm going to say, one of 7 running for senator in Illinois, one of 7, viewed to be, from the get-go, the 7th in that race, had just gotten his doors blown off in a primary 2 years earlier by the one and only Bobby Rush, who's still out there, by the way, blew him off the field, and that guy is the President of the United States as we stand here today, Barack Obama. I'd make 2 observations. Number 1, we have never nominated a perfect candidate as a Democrat for President of the United States. Who is perfect? Please point to me the perfect person. You've just heard the story about Miley
I paint him.
If Cody hears that we didn't say it was Cody when he comes in, we will never hear the end of that. So let's just acknowledge that. Emails, schmemails, whatever it is. But let's also understand, this is a Wellesley College grad, Yale Law grad, I believe the finest law school in the country, and I'm a Harvard grad. Worked with children and women for no notoriety as long back as she's been able to do it. Student body president at Wellesley, an outstanding First Lady in Arkansas who had her own set of agendas, including for children and women and health care. An outstanding American First Lady who first had the courage to put forward what is now has become the Affordable Care Act. For all of its challenges, it is a huge step to ensure every American in the right direction. An outstanding senator, including in very tough moments like 9/11. My boss as Secretary of State. I first met her on the campus of Wellesley College, not when she was a student, but when she was back in, because she was the First Lady of Arkansas. She was an outstanding Secretary of State, and if you don't know her, don't believe anything you read about her, because it ain't true. She's the best boss I ever had. So this is arguably, in the face of all those imperfect Democrats, this is the most qualified person we have ever put forward to nominate as President of the United States. And ladies and gentlemen, just like it is for Stacy and Diane and Jim and Rosella and her colleagues, or any of the other communities that are at stake in Morris County, we can't wish it to happen. We can't pray it to happen. We got to get out there and make it happen by voting and jacking the turnout up in this county, around the state, and around the country. And if we do that, we will elect Hillary Clinton as President of the United States of America and have a sweep right on down the ballot. Let's go get it.